Thank you for tuning into our seller interview series. Up today, we've got a dropshipping business for sale in the bed and bath niche. Created in January 2017, this business makes $2,861 per month in net profit, and the listing number for the business is 46245. We do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the businesses they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Charles, thank you for coming on here today. How are you doing?
Yeah, well, thanks.
It's my pleasure having you on here today. I'm really excited to discuss this business with you today. But before we dive into the questions that I have for you, I want to go ahead and run through a little quick summary of the business. Again, it was built in January of 2017, has a monthly revenue of $10,421, expenses of $7,560 to make for a net profit of $2,861, which is generated on a 12-month average. Included in the sale of this business are the domain and all site content and files, social media accounts, email list, and trademark. Please note the inventory is not normally included in the list price. Further details can be provided to active depositors. Charles, can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, sure. Actually, just to clarify, the website itself was built in 2010, but we didn't turn it into a dropship business until 2017. So it was initially more of a store shop, and we had a website, and it kind of grew from that, really. Around about 2016, we made the decision to turn it into a dropship business, and it's been quite successful from that. We no longer store any products, everything's shipped directly. And obviously, from my own point of view, I've had extensive background in website building and SEO, doing other projects as well.
So why did you decide to change the website to a dropshipping store?
The overheads just getting too big, and we had a lot of problems with carriage as well because of the nature of the products. So we were stocking a lot of products, we were having to pay a lot of storage, and then we were getting products damaged in shipment because we were just sending them out on general couriers. Once we decided to go dropship, we established relationships with key suppliers who would deliver the products for us direct to our customers. Obviously, they are much better set up than we were, having specialist lorries, couriers, that kind of thing for breakable goods. And it took away all the expense of having to store product. And we had 2 staff on it before, which I then managed to put them onto something else. It took away a lot of the cost, made the business much more profitable.
So seeing as you've made it a much easier business to run due to that transition, why have you decided to sell it today?
I have 2 other businesses, one of which I own and one of which I have an interest in, both of which have a lot of potential. And I also have a young family that I want to spend more time with. So I've just finding myself spread very thin and made the decision to cut back on one of them and chose this one to sell because it was dropship. It was probably the easiest to sell, to be honest.
Something you notice when you look back over the last year is there was this large spike in profit in July of 2018. Do you know what happened then?
Yes. What happened was we had a bit of stock left over from pre-dropshipping, and we wanted to cut our storage fees, obviously, because it wasn't something we wanted to continue. So we sold a lot of that stock off that we'd written off. So that would explain the spike in profit.
Can you explain to me how your website here receives traffic? Where do your customers come from?
Yes, it's purely through organic. I say purely, it's a small bit through social, but not that much. My background is SEO, and one of my projects was moving forward was to spend more time. I see there's a lot of potential there. We got some good rankings for a few of the products, but because the site's got good authority, it wouldn't be difficult to rank a lot of other products. I just haven't had the time to sit down and do that. I did try AdWords going back about 5 years ago, but I haven't got a background in AdWords, and I used a couple of agencies and I tried it myself. I couldn't get it to work, but that's not to say that somebody who knows what they're doing with AdWords couldn't make it work. I'm sure it could. It's just that I couldn't.
So you mentioned your social accounts. What strategies, are they currently being utilized?
A little bit. Again, it's just purely time. Twitter we found to be the best. It's got over 15,000 followers, and we do get some traffic through Twitter. Interestingly enough, I had a friend who developed some software which allowed us to generate followers in a particular niche of our choice. So the followers we've got for Serene Bathrooms are very, very good quality. They're all plumbers, builders, bathroom fitters, that kind of thing. So they're very niche targeted followers. That said, you still don't get a tremendous amount of traffic through, but I think that's just the nature of social media. Facebook is reasonable. We've also got a LinkedIn page, but again, I've not found a massive traffic driver, to be honest.
Have you explored email marketing?
Yes and no. You're probably aware in the UK, we've had a big new law come out last year called GDPR, which is, I have a big email list, but they're not double opt-in. So once GDPR came out, I stopped sending out emails because I didn't want to fall foul of the law. However, again, purely time-based, there would be nothing stopping you emailing the list that I've got and asking them if they would like to double opt-in, and then to continue to email market to those that do. I just haven't had time to do it.
So if you were to keep this business, what are the major opportunities that you would focus on?
There's certain product categories where we've got good rankings on a few products, but there's a lot of low-hanging fruit within that product category. So I would spend some time, definitely would have spent some time doing SEO around that product category. It's also the most profitable category that we have. So like I say, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit there that wouldn't take much to boost sales there. Possibly if I could find somebody that knew what they were doing with AdWords, spend a bit of time re-looking at that, as I haven't really looked at that for a good few years now. Yeah, so there's plenty of potential there.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that's probably the other thing that's probably worth mentioning is that because of the nature of what I'm doing on my other two businesses, spending so much time, and I had no staff on this business, I just looked after it myself in my spare time. I took all the telephone numbers off the site. So, if somebody were able to put telephone numbers back on the site, I think sales would go up quite a bit just purely from that.
Do you feel like there are any potential risks associated with this business that a new owner should be aware of?
I think, to be honest, we took a lot of the risk when we turned it into a dropship, which is really why we did it. The problems that we were having have been taken away in terms of cost of storage, breakages, that kind of thing, because that now is put back to the supplier. So the business just ticks along. As you can see, it's got good traffic organically. So there's nothing really that you could do that would put the business at risk, other than when you're trying things out, whatever you try may not be profitable, but it will still be having a good basic net profit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And you also have a trademark on one of the brands you sell. Is that correct?
Yes, we do. Again, a lot of mileage in pushing that brand out. Also have a website in that brand as well, which I forgot to tell Lynette about, but that would come with the sale as well.
So you have this separate website that is selling these branded products.
It's not a sale website, it's just purely an information website, but it links back to the main.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Have you considered, adding any sort of, Amazon Associates or AdSense or anything like that to that site?
No, not really. I don't think it's the kind of site that would lend itself to that very well. It's quite a high quality site, and the personnel that you're selling to would be sort of, I don't know how to say this politically correctly, Jake, so you're going to have to what's the word? An average earners, I suppose, would be the best way to say it. Don't know if you want to cut that, Maurice.
No, that's fine. I mean, you're targeting people who have a little bit more money and thus selling costlier items.
Exactly, yeah. It's quite we spent a lot of time when we developed the website to make sure it had a certain look to people with higher than average earning, and therefore don't think it would be appropriate to put adverts on there, really.
Would you commit to a non-compete?
Yes.
How much support are you willing to offer a new owner during the transition period?
Yeah, I'm more than happy to give them a full support on the switchover. I'm not sure. I mean, what's the normal on that kind of thing, Jake? I think Lynette said something like 2 calls, was it? And
something, akin to 30 days of Skype and email support is something you see typically?
Yeah, happy to do that, yeah.
Are you open to negotiating on something like an earnout where potentially a portion of the capital from the sale would be paid out in the next coming months rather than all up at front?
Possibly. Yeah, I mean, I'm all open to discussion. I would prefer full up payment, but at the end of the day, I'm not saying no.
So my final question for you is, if you were looking at this business from the perspective of a potential buyer, why would you feel like it is an asset worth buying?
Purely because it doesn't take a lot of time. It is pretty much hassle-free, and there is a lot of potential. Like I mentioned before, the reason for selling is that I don't have time to grow and realise the potential there is there. So, there's not really a lot that can go wrong with it, really. It's got a steady flow of organic traffic that just comes through. It's got some strong brands that just continually sell month on month, and it just ticks along, really. Like I say, without even, at the moment, there's no telephone numbers on there. We just answer all queries either through live chat or email. But again, you could put phone numbers on there. There's just so much potential with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some untapped opportunities like social, like email marketing, like AdWords, that if someone came in with that right perspective, it's clear that there's plenty of opportunity to grow the site even more than you already have.
Yeah, that's right. It just occurred to me as well, actually, Jake, one of the questions you asked earlier was about what would I do?
What opportunities would you focus on?
Would I focus on? There's no eBay or Amazon outlet store with it as such. But so again, that's another opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. eBay and Amazon are some of the largest marketplaces in the world. I'm sure there's an opportunity to get your products in.
Well, that was one of the things that I was going to focus on if I'd kept it.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially having that trademark on one of your top brands is a huge advantage with getting started with Amazon in particular.
Yeah.
Charles, thank you very much for taking the time with me today. I really appreciate it.
Sorry, I was a bit disjointed.
Not a problem. No, I've loved having you on here. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. And if you want more information, the link will be below the video that will take you to this marketplace listing. If you're watching this on the listing page and want more information, become a depositor today. When you make the deposit, one of our business advisors will be in contact with you. You'll be given everything you need to review this business. Have a great day.